This is Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. We've got a lot on the old docket here today. First of all, we'll take a look here at gold and silver. Then we'll take a look at here at some stocks. BIDU, PayPal, PLTR, Dollar General, TJX, and Costco. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy or sell any stock, commodity ETF. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have gold, and here we have the old silver. Now, you can see here, gold had a really nice run, but let me just big this up here for you. I'm going to show you something real quick. Okay, so we had this run, so we wanted to look at the top of this candle here. This is that 34.42 level, okay? So then we came here, we retested it at 34.44, and then made a little bit higher here at 34.48, but this is the level here, minus old topping tail boy up there. This is the level that we were looking for, okay? So then it came right on down, but you notice how nice it held that 50-day. You have to respect that 50-day, like I always said, because look to the past on how many times it held it. Look how nice it held, okay? Look at it's holding it. Even though it came down, you notice that it closed above the 50-day. That's very key. Now, you can see here, yesterday we made a kind of like an engulfing kind of a candle. We went right up high and then we went right into that 21 SMA at 32.96. And now today we're back above it. Okay, so now what we're looking for, let's take a look at the upside here first. Okay, so you're looking at 33.22. That was today's high. Now, your next level that we're going to be looking for is going to be right here, is going to be 33.52 level. Okay, we could come down here and probably look at this candle here first, 33.46 level, and then 33.52 level. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come up right into this level here. This is going to be very strong. This is that 33.96 level situation. Then we'll come to the top of this candle. You're looking at 34.22. Then we have that 34.48, which is basically their recent high. Then if we can crawl above that, then we have this 35.09. Now, this 21-day is going to be everything here, so you want to respect it because just look to the past here. Okay, look how it was riding it sideways. And then we held it very nicely here. So now we got to respect this on the downside. So the downside, this is what you're watching, is that 21-day. As long as it holds that 21-day, sitting right there at that 32.96, this is going higher. No question about it. Now, if we lose that 21-day, then we're going to look to this 8-day at 32.45. Then we're going to come right down here to the 50-day at 31.97, which you really have to respect. If that's lost, we'll come down to the bottom of this candle at 31.56, and 31.23 is your retest. But when you just take the big picture on what gold is doing here, just respect this area here, okay, that 50 SMA all the way on up, which you are very nicely. Now, easy way to trade this is GLD for the long side. So what we're watching here today is we're going to be watching this next level, okay, on the upside, which is 33.52, okay? That's what we're going to be watching, okay? So make sure that you keep your eye on that. That's going to be very key level here, because if you look right across, you can see how much support is right here at that 33.58, 33.50 level. This is going to be very strong resistance. But if you get above that, then we can climb up to that 33.48, which is basically the recent high. Now, again, if we crack this 35.09, well, then, you know, you're going to go to that 35.50. That'll be the target. I'm not saying it's going to get there instantly, but that's where she'll creep right on up to, okay? Now, I use gold more like a fear factor. And with the tariff situation going on here, nothing has really worked out, nothing here. So actually, it's a really nice, good play on the upside is the old gold. Now, here, we look here, basically on this RSI here, you're sitting at 54. Now, we had a negative divergence, okay? So we see where we had this high. We had this high. We had a higher high, but we made a lower high here. See this negative divergence? Now, sideways action, that's all played out now. So now we're back on the upswing here. So I just think this is going to go high, and we'll see what kind of reaction is if it gets to that 34.48 level. Now, the MACD here, you can see where it's crawling, and now maybe if this crosses over, that will send that right back up to that 34.48, possibly 35.09 retest. Now, if it gets to this area, we got to see what the reaction is. Does it blow through that area, or does it just hit it and come right back down again? Okay, silver. Finally, silver's getting some action here. Now, we had this big sideways action for look how many weeks here. You know what I mean? For how many days, I should say. And then what we do is we're going to be watching here is this 33.83 level. That's going to be very key. That's basically the top of that candle. Now, if we can get above that, you want to look right to the left of the chart here. 34.24 is going to be your target. We'll come up to the top of this candle right here. You're looking at 35 flat level, okay? And then we have that 35.49, your breakout. You crack above that, you're going to that 40 level. right? Now, 57, plenty of room to the upside. This was flatline. Now this can go rally right up here, but the key to the silver is going to be cracking that 33.83. Now, on the downside, there's so much support here. You got your 50-day sitting at 33.04, and then everything else is sitting here right at that pretty much 33 level, your 21-day, your 8-day, and then we have your 100-day underneath this section here at 32.42. So basically, this is a trade until we crack and close above that 33.83. You crack above that, then we just follow these candles all the way top till we get your big retest. Okay, let's take a look here now at BIDU. Okay, here we have the old BIDU. Okay, so this is what we got going here. All right. So you can see here, just basically just chop city all the way around. Okay, so today it tried to spike right on up here. I believe it had earnings there today, spiked right on up here, and then came right on down here. So what we're doing is we're really watching this level right here. Okay, so what you're watching is that 85, 88 level. Okay, so if you just take this price channel, 85, 88. Okay, so that's really what you're watching. Now, if that's lost, we're going to come right down to the next price channel level, which is going to be right here at that 81, 81 level. Okay, then we can just follow the candles until we hit that 74, 71 down. But right now, we just have this sideways action. But if you look at the rest of this chart here, it's pretty choppy. Okay, it's just choppy. Now, again, on the upside, look at the pile of resistance we got going on here, okay? So you got that 100-day at 88.62 here. We got the 21-day at 89.29. We have this 8-day sitting there at that 89.88. So let's just say we have to close above the 90 area. If we can, then we can head for that 94 area, okay? Now, if it can get above that, we have this gap. See this gap right here? Okay, so you look at the top of that candle, you're looking at 95.59. There's your gap. And then we look right to the bottom of this candle here at 97.46. Your gap, your fill. Then we'll look to the top there at 99.49. Then we'll always look to the left here. Okay, so you want to look at that 164. And then we can rally all the way up here to the retest at 105.19. But you have to close above that 94.10 level in order to do that. But right now, I don't see it. This is just like a sideways kind of a chop. Now, your RSI here rolling over because of this big red candle. Your green is just, and your red are just pretty much flatlined here. This is, I would wait, if you're trading this, I would just be a little patient. I would wait on this here. I don't really see a big time trade here. Okay, let's take a look here at PayPal. Okay, here we have PayPal. We had a really nice, good run, okay? But you got to know when to get out of this, okay? So when you see this running up here, and you see when it sold down, it held that 50-day. See how nice it held that 50-day all the way up here? But when you look at the top of this candle, you had 93.66, and then we had this retest up here at 93.25. You see this? This is a double top. When you see these double tops, get the hell out, short, do whatever you got to do, but don't stay long into this trade. It's not going to work, okay? Just as simple as that. Now, you can see here where the earnings are right here, okay? Just gap right on down, and then they've been selling off ever since. Now, this time earnings here, we had a good run right on up here, and now we're holding this 8 SMA here, okay? So this is going to be very, very crucial on a closing basis, this 72.36 level, okay? Now, if that's lost here, we're going to come right to the bottom of this candle here at 71.11, and then we can work yourself around to the 21-day at 68.91, and even that 50-day there at 66.69 level, okay? But right now, respect that 8-day because look how many times that has held this very, very nicely. Now, the upside, we got a lot of good resistance here, okay? So you got that 74.15, but that 100-day is sitting right there at that 73.90. Let's just call it 74. Now, if you can crack above that, then we have this nice 200-day sitting right there at 76.30, okay? So you get above that, we just bring this price channel right across. You got 77.57. We'll come over top of this candle here. You're looking at 79 flat. But what you're really looking for, if you can close above that 200-day, is right here, okay? See what we have? You have your gap, 82.69. So it's going to go up to that gap, okay? And then once it gets in there, then we look to the bottom of this candle here at 86 flat. There's your fill. And then we can look to the top there. You're looking at 89.71. And then we just work yourself right back up here to that 93 level. But we have this 100-day, which crossed over your 200-day. That's not good, okay? But that 200-day is going to be very, very strong. However, look at the 8-day. Crossed over, looking very nice. 21-day crossed over, very nice here. So you have to be a little patient this. I think maybe what you have is a little consolidation going on here. But if we can start cracking above, okay, that price channel, that's going to be that 74.15 level. Then we can hit that 200-day. You crack above that, then I'll be looking for this gap and looking for that fill. Okay, now we got all the way up here. It's not really what you call an overbought condition. It's like we had here. Now, again, when you get these overbought conditions, that is just a warning sign. That's why I always tell you, just that's a warning sign. That doesn't mean it can't go higher. It's just that you're over to that situation, and eventually it will sell off. Okay, but again, see, we have this overbought kind of situation, but it just kept rallying up. It also means with the RSI that you have a very, very strong stock too. So then when it fell off, we got oversold here. Okay, then that was the time to buy and then get right back in here. So now we're just riding this wave, but just watch that price channel. That's going to be key. That 74.15, you crack above it, you're going to go right to that 76. You crack above that, gap and fill. All right, let's take a look here at PLTR. Okay, PLTR right here, looking really, really nice. Okay, so we had this nice good run up, gapped up. This is the earnings. Okay, see where the earnings are? Nice gap up here, and then she sold right on down. Now we had the earnings again. Okay, we had a little gap down, but now you can see where she's running right up here nicely. Now, what we're watching here is going to be this 8-day, 126.55. You really have to get right above that. That's going to be very, very key. If we can, we're going to come right up here at that 130.33, and then we come up here 133.49. You get up there, then we're going to be looking for that flat 135 area and possibly run up to 140 area, okay? But what we have here, this stock has had a really, really good run off the bottom here. You got to figure this was 66.12 and it ran all the way up there. So you had more than a double, which is very, very nice, okay? Now, we got to an overbought condition here. Now she's just settling down here. So a little sideways action, little consolidation is good, okay? But now, if we can't, we lose this 126.55 on a closing basis, then just look right here for this 119.19 level, okay? Then we can just follow these candles all the way on down here. So what you're basically looking for is 115.01. We have support here at that 112 level. We'll come down here to the bottom there, look at that 105. And then we have your 101.01 level, which is your 50-day. Now, there is a gap here, okay? So I just want to point that out to you. You have 97.83. There's your gap. Then we look to the top of this candle here at 96.34. Okay, gap and your fill. So always watch that if we start losing that 8 and that 21 day. It's not just going to be the 50 and 100 day that we're looking at. We're also looking for that gap and that fill situation. But right now, this looks like it's just like a consolidation, which it needed after this run. Okay, a little consolidation. And I think we can blast above that 133.49. If we crack above that, we're going to go much higher. I think you're going to hit that 135 and work yourself all the way to 140. Okay. Take a look here now at Dollar General. Okay, here we have Dollar General. Now, a lot of these companies are coming out, like Walmart came out, and they had actually good numbers, but they're blaming the tariffs and all this. But they're going to have to realize they're going to have to eat it. Now, Home Depot had good numbers. Lowe's had good numbers. They said, they can work through the tariffs, no big deal. Target came out today, and they're blaming everything, all the way down to this, to the CEO down to his third grade or something. They're blaming this, they're blaming that. Let me tell you something about this Target. Stop with all this political nonsense, okay? You're a grocery store. Just sell your product. Keep your mouth shut on everything else. Just sell your product and you won't have these problems. Because no matter what you do, you're going to offend somebody some way. Just that. Just have it very, very simple, okay? I used to have a bar restaurant, okay? And I had a sign in there that when he walked in the door, I had on there, everyone's welcome. Done. Okay, I didn't offend anybody. Everybody come in here and do what you got to do. Don't segregate certain people and this and this and that. It's not going to work. Just sell your freaking product. That's all you have to do, Target. Okay, wake up, man. Okay, so let's take a look at Dollar General. Dollar General, I don't care. You can drive around like I'm in northern Michigan here. You can drive out in the middle of nowhere and all of a sudden you'll see a Dollar General. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, they are all over. Convenient as all hell. They're not really dollar stores. You walk in there, there's very few. There's a lot of stuff that is not a dollar there, okay? But anyway, they're doing good business. And that's all we care about is what the stock price is doing. All right, so what we had here, we had this nice high coming up here at that 97.85. We had a little chop action, but look at this 50-day again, how nicely it held that 50-day. So respect it, okay, until it's lost, okay? Now you can see where the 8-day crossed over the 21-day. Now what we're doing is we're trading against yesterday's high at 102.69 level, okay? Now, what I want to point out to you here is this gap. See where we had this gap? Okay, you're sitting at 97. Now we're above that. So now we're into that gap. So your next big target here, I mean, you got targets like right here, okay? So you're going to come down, you got 114.17, but eventually you're going to hit this gap fill right here at that 122.47 level, and then we can go to the top of this candle here at 123.35. So always watch these gaps, and now we are into this gap, okay? So now we can run up. Yeah, there's support here, there's support there, but eventually, once you start getting into the gap, you're going to fill it, at 122.47. So if you're trading this, just hang on to it because I think you're going to fill that gap, and if not, going to go higher. Now we are here. We got to get to. We've got almost to that 70 mark here, but again, we just have a nice, good, solid, strong stock. Your green is over your red kind of a situation. Again, just because it's overbought, that doesn't mean it can't stay that way. But a lot of times what happens is when it gets overbought, constituted, it wants to come down and do a little correction, sideways action, consolidate, and then take another run on up here, okay? But right now here, I would just ride this wave here because I'd be looking for this gap. And then once you get above that, look how much nice resistance we have all the way back up to that big retest up here, okay? So this one's looking really good. Okay, let's take a look here now at TJ Maxx. Okay, TJ Maxx here. Now, again, TJ Maxx also owns the home store, okay, which is an awesome place. And the beauty about that, I like about the TJ Maxx and the home store, is not really, it's all about the hunt. You go there, you might find nothing, or you go there, you might find everything, okay? That's the beauty of it, okay? Now, it's coming off here today. They had good numbers, I would say, on their call. They had really good numbers. Again, it's kind of like in sympathy, retail selling up, blah, 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 okay? But I say this is the one that you want to get right back into. Now, again, we went and we tagged this, got into an overbought condition here, and then we sold off, okay? So you can see when we have this run up here, okay, when you start getting elevated here and you start getting outside that price channel, it's going to want to come down. But if you look at it, it's holding this 21-day here very, very nicely here so far, okay? So that's what we're looking for. Now, we put this gap in here. So on the upside, what we want to watch is you want to watch that 132.66, that 8-day, and then we'll look at today's high, 133. There's your gap. And then we look to the bottom of this candle here, 134.26, and then 135.85 is your breakout. You get above this here, you're going to work your way up to 150. It's just that simple, okay? Now, if we lose this 21-day here at 129.66, but again, respect it because here, look at it. See how many times that is held? So you just got to respect it, okay? That's the key. If we lose that 129.66 level here, okay, then we can come down here to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at 128.63. We'll come down here. We're looking at 126.96. And we just follow these old candles all the way on down here. You got 126.13 until we get to that 50-day at 124.85. But you can see how the 200 days running on up, 50 days running on up, 21-day, and the 8-day bottom left, upper corner, upper right. This is very, very good chart here. So if you're trading this, okay, be very, very patient, okay, because the numbers, okay, just look in the past there, okay. So we had this number last time, came right here, and then it sold off, and then it just rallied, okay. So we have the numbers again, so we got to see what it can do. But again, so far it hasn't just sold up, kind of like an indecision kind of a candle situation, okay. So again, watch that breakout. You can buy on strength. So if it closes above that 135.85, jump right back in there. She's going to run to 150, just that simple. But right now, you want to watch that 8-day and you want to watch that 21-day on a closing basis. If that 21-day is lost, your target there is going to be that 50-day at 124.85. Okay, let's take a look here at Costco. Okay, here we have Costco. Now, I'm not a member of Costco, but I do love the stock, okay? This is really good stock. I am a member of Sam's, and Sam's is, I don't know, we're worked out. They got the butchers, they got the whole 9 yards, and it's a lot closer to where I live. So it works out very, very nice. Now, you can see here what a really, really good run that it's had, okay? So, again, a lot of times what Costco does is when they get their numbers, okay? See, here's their numbers, okay? Just look back at the numbers. So this, and once you get the numbers out, then it sells off. Numbers out, sells off, okay? Numbers out, sells off, okay? So next numbers here, if it sells off, that's your buying opportunity to take it long. But now you can see bottom left, upper right. Now look at this, how you're holding this 8-day, okay? That's your support level, 1,018. I wish the stock would split. That'd be nice. 1,004, that's your key. And then we're going to come down to your 100-day at 976. And then we have your 50-day at 966. And then we have your 200-day all the way down here at 943. So you got a lot of support, but everything is bottom left, upper right. Very, very nice. But she's just like creeping right up here. So what we're looking at here on the top of this candle is 1038. Okay. So your next level is just bring this right across. Okay, is right there, 1045. Okay, we'll come up top of this candle, 1066. Your big retest up there at 1078. Now, I want to show you here on this, when I talk about these gaps and these fills. Okay, so what do we have? We had a gap, okay, and then we had a fill, came all the way on down here. But now you notice here how as this is working up here, we filled this gap. Okay, once we get into the gap, okay, so there's your resistance level. See how it was sideways action. Once you get into that resistance levels, that's the top of that candle, okay? And then once you start working yourself into it, then you're going to fill that gap. Okay, so always watch those gaps and fill. If to the upside or the downside, it doesn't make any difference. They will fill eventually, but once it starts getting into there, it wants to like a magnet to a fridge. Okay, so this is a good one, and I think you're going to retest that 1078 there very, very easy, just a matter of time. But look at this 8-day. So just watch that 8-day on a closing basis. If that's lost, you want to watch that 21-day, because look here, how nice it's held all the way on up here. Even though it came down, it held it. That's the key. Okay, so that's why I always like it when you have the 8 in a 21-day, it works very, very nicely. So if you lose that 8, you know where it's going, right down to that 21 SMA here. Okay, so this is looking very, very good. Just let it shake out a little bit. Now, we never got to this overbought condition like we had here. Okay, see how we got to that overbought condition? And then what happened? It went a little sideways, and then she fell right off a cliff. Okay, but look at here. We had this nice double bottom. That was a buying opportunity, at least to take it up into that 50 SMA here. Okay, nice. Now, your green is over your red. That's still showing good momentum, and it's just like it just crawling right on up here, and I believe it's going to crawl up and retest at 178. Okay, that's all I got for you. Now, I'll be back here after the old pit close. We'll take a look here at Bitcoin, crude oil, natural gas, and we'll take a look here at the old indexes, the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ, and then maybe we'll throw something else in the old mix. A lot of people seem to like the gold. Maybe we'll throw gold in the old mix from now on. All right, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.